Rafael Collazo is a millennial author, coach, professional keynote speaker, and software consultant. His book, The Millennial Playbook, was praised by Reader's Favorite, the SV Herald, and various other publications for its ability to provide a unique and enlightening message to millennials. Please join me in welcoming the millennial mentor, Rafael Collazo.
Awesome conference so far. I'm really impressed. You guys are truly some of the best and brightest in the entire state of Kentucky, so give your guys self a round of applause, really. The first lesson I'd like to talk to you guys about actually has to do with my first business, Posticity, and really where the idea for Posticity came from. Some of my favorite memories consisted of sitting around the dinner table with my family and enjoying a nice plate of pasta. When I went to college, my friends, whenever I bring them over to be able to just hang out, I would make pasta for them, and they were absolutely blown away by what I was actually cooking for them. They were like, wow, why don't you start selling this stuff to people? And so what eventually happened was I created a logo, slapped it on a polo, and off I went to start selling pasta. Over the next 2 years, I developed a business model. I had an opportunity to pursue a graduate degree in finance, but I also had the opportunity to pursue my business venture, which was Posticity at the time. One of the lessons that I'd like to talk to you guys about today is really learning to take calculated risks. So if I got a master's degree in finance and I wanted to pursue a career in finance, that's obviously the most logical approach. The opportunity in the business was something I was really passionate about, was super excited about. And really what finally pushed me over the edge to actually pursue my passions into food and business in general was that I had something to fall back on. So I had pursued a degree in engineering and economics, and I knew that if it completely miserably failed, then I could at least pursue something in the engineering realm. So the first lesson I'd like to share is really to learn to take calculated risks. Now, lesson number 2 has to do with a very special person. Now, this young boy was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, to a Puerto Rican father and a Filipino mother. From as early as the age of 2, you could tell this young man was special. He was just a performer, a natural performer. And by the age of 5, he became the youngest Elvis impersonator in the entire country. So he definitely made a name for himself early on. Just as I did in entrepreneurship, he took the leap of faith and went to LA and pursued his passion in music. Now, his big break actually came in the form of getting signed by Motown Records. Unfortunately for him, he got dropped by the record label just a year and a half into his journey. But luckily for us, he didn't quit. Over the next 2 years, he worked his tail off. And eventually, he caught his big break. This young man wrote a song called Billionaire, featuring Travie McCoy, and eventually Bruno Mars is now one of the most recognizable figures of our generation. He sold over 140 million albums worldwide, and just this last year, his album, 24 Karat Magic, won 6 Grammy Awards. But really, the distinguishing factor between him and those who achieve massive levels of success is a word I like to call grit. Grit, the way I like to describe it, is really, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about getting back up when you get knocked down. There's always gonna be times where you have to get back up consistently. So lesson number 2 is learn to push through adversity. You're gonna get smacked in the face sometimes, but that doesn't mean you have to stay down and quit. Now, the third lesson that I'd like to talk to you guys about today actually has to do with this right here. This is a penny, but it's not just any penny. This is actually a magic penny. So this penny actually compounds every single day for 31 days. If you had the opportunity to take $3 million cash, or you'd take this magic penny, which one would you guys pick? 3 mil? Hey, who picked the 3 mil? Give me your hands up. All right, that's a decent amount of people. How about the magic penny? Okay, evenly split. So let's just go through the scenario so you guys can kind of see what's going on. By day 10, you penny hoarders have $5.12. Yikes, right? You've gone over 10 days and you haven't even accrued you've just barely accrued $5.12. By day 25, you penny hoarders have $167,000 in change. I mean, you could probably buy a pretty nice house in Kentucky or a really nice car, but you can't retire on $167,000. Advance to day 31, and that's really where the magic happens. By day 31, you penny hoarders have $10.7 million. Crazy, right? How do you go from getting one penny, one single penny, to to over $10 million. Really what that comes down to is the power of the compound effect. The way I'd like to describe it today really has to do with the actions you take every single day that make you who you are. Just to give you an example of how it's worked in my life, the compound effect, is when I first just decided to write my first book, The Millennial Playbook. I got the inspiration to write it because when I graduated from college, I started devouring all these books on personal development, professional development, and I wanted to share them with the rest of the world because I realized that a lot of my friends didn't know a lot about this. What I resolved to do was to write a book about it. But there's only one problem. I'm a terrible writer, right? How do I go from that to being able to write a 222-page book? I decided to write 500 words every weekday. So like the first week or two, it was very difficult. Now, 5-6 weeks later, advance it out. I've improved substantially. I'm writing 500 words in maybe an hour, maybe under an hour. And I keep maybe 300 words of that content. By month 2, month 3, I'm churning out content, 500 words a day, easy. I do it in 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I'm writing 500 words and it's good content. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I start writing 1,000 words a day? That's the type of mentality that if you have, just do small actions over and over and over again. The fact that you guys are here in FBLA, working towards your future, that type of mentality, that type of compounded effect over time really builds you into something substantial just in a short amount of time. Given what we've just talked about, I'd really like to give the calls to action based on the lessons we've learned today. And really those lessons involve learning to take the leap of faith into something after you've learned to take your calculated risks. Number 2 is learn to persevere through adversity. And finally, the third and final lesson I'd like to relay to you guys is that consistently do something every single day that you really are passionate about. You're going to be amazed with what you can accomplish if you just dedicate that amount of time every single day towards something. Thank you so much for your time. God bless.